Hi, welcome to the Dole Edge. This is our podcast where we laugh right before we talk about our items, and then we talk about whatever we want. I'm Bobby.
I'm Shay.
And on this one, we're talking about talking during plays, movies, concerts, phone calls, sort of things. Not just talking, but phone calls, like all of that
Anything
stuff.
that disrupts a performance.
Right.
Right.
Which
I think we've kind of lightly touched on last season, but I have experiences now.
Okay, me too. Okay.
Right.
So, wait, did we talk about this last season?
I mean, I kind of complained about it, I think, for like 2.5 seconds, but we didn't do like a whole podcast on it.
Because I thought we did, and I think I was at the time, until this last incident. What is that yellow bird?
Oh, ADD, look at that.
Sorry, it's just bright yellow and it's little. Anyways, sorry.
Okay, so last time you were like in favor of it's fine.
Yeah, before I was in, because I go to movies, and when things are happening, I'm like, what the F? Stop. Don't do that.
You would drive me nuts if we sat next to each other.
And I don't talk loud, so because I'm not like, hey, everybody, why is he going down the dark hall? I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But like, I will be like, bro, stop.
Okay.
And like, I jutted my arms out. You guys can't see us, but like, whatever, low key, like, I'll whisper to my mom, be like, is that Nicolas Cage?
Okay.
It always is Nicolas Cage because he only plays one person. But anyways, who was I thinking of? Christian Bale. Is it that Christian Bale? Because he's a different person every time he acts.
That's true.
But that's besides the point. Until we went to Cirque du Soleil.
Oh no.
And then the freaking lady behind me was full on talking, like, not like, husband, you see that? That was crazy. No. It was like, oh my gosh, this, like, full on just saying
like
words out loud. And I was like, I multiple times kind of like looked back at her. I looked back at the husband, even though the husband wasn't doing anything. Maybe like the husband would see me and he'd be like, wife, hush the rig up. Yeah, it wasn't. And luckily the second half. So knowing that, I will be more quiet even more quiet than I'm already being. Granted, nowadays when I go to the movies, like, we see the $5 films, and there's usually it's just me and my mom and like one other soul in there. So like, if you haven't seen Indiana Jones #1 yet, that's on you. Yeah. Like,
it's been out long enough.
It's been out long enough.
We can talk about it.
Right. So, I will hush the freak up.
Okay. They just like, I don't mind like the little like every now and then, like, that's normal, right? Because you're having an experience with other human beings. There's going to be some right. But if you're like opening like the most loud plastic container of all time, and then like chonking on it, and then like having a conversation like you're at a football game, stop.
We talk. My mom and I are always like, when we go to the movies now, if we get like nachos or pretzel or whatever, we always open it before the movie. Yeah. Even if we're not gonna eat it, we like open it up and like take it out of the thing, or like if it's in the bag, we'll like make sure it's like pretty open, so we can like reach in or whatever. Because we're like, we're not doing this during the movie, because that happens, and you're like just open it. Just instead of trying to be quiet and like open it slow, just go
and be done
and be good, and that's it.
It's like people sniffing their noses during tests. Like, just blow it. Just blow it out. Get it out so we can all stop listening to you sniffle, please. No. So like movies,
usually they don't have something though, so it's kind of like, just get through the test. Get through the test.
Anyway, no, but like, okay, so in my opinion, movies are less of a crime.
Oh yeah.
If you do a little bit of talking, less of a crime. Still a crime, punishment deserved. But if you are talking during a live performance, whether that's a play, a musical, a concert, like a poetry reading, basket weaving presentation, whatevs.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. There are performers that have sacrificed their time and their talents, and they're out there. And you can't
go back. It's not like a movie where you're like, oh freak, I freaking missed it, and then you can just get the movie or stream it or whatever and watch it back. This is it.
Yeah. Okay, so like normally I get like super incensed. I haven't turned into like a crazy old person yet where I'm like, shut up! But like, I want to. But I'm like, no, they're humans and it's their first time living too, and maybe like just be patient.
I don't think that, like, it's your first time living? No. Okay. You know full well, unless you're under the age of like 8, where you're like, I got the wiggles and I have to wiggle around because I'm a child, and I get that, but also don't come here.
That's what I think. Okay, so there are like definitely family level performances, right?
Yes.
Where you're like, okay, so this is a kindergarten performance, and like obviously half the crowd is going to be under 2. Like, that's going to be a noisy performance, and it's meant for that.
Yep.
But if you're paying like $60 for a play, for frick's sake, please do not bring children. Don't do it.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to be miserable. They're going to be miserable.
They're going to be
everyone around
upsetted.
you's going to be miserable.
I can barely make it through a 2-hour play.
Oh,
so your 8-year-old, unless they are, profesh, do not bring them. They don't want to be here. As much as you're like, they love the Cat in the Hat. We went to a Cat in the Hat one, and I was still like,
Yeah.
They're not going to want to sit for 2 hours.
No, they're not.
They don't sit at your house for a movie for 2 hours.
Yeah. So don't bring them to this.
And, Kay, you know what gets me? Not only the talking, is the people that kick the back of the chairs.
Oh.
I literally hate that. I ask when I go to plays, especially so my cousin Heidi has the plays, right? She'll get me a ticket, and I'll be like, please put me I don't care if I'm at the rafters at the top. I don't care where I am. Please do not put someone behind me. I don't care where I am. I could be behind the pillar, and I will lean the whole show. Please don't put someone behind me, because it never fails. Every single person, and it's not always children. Yeah. Sometimes it's full-on adults, and they'll do it multiple times. Yeah. And you're like,
please stop. Please,
whatever you need to do, man. If you need to pee, just go.
Yes.
I don't know. I hate that so much.
It drives me nuts. And it always happens to my poor husband, which just cracks me up so much, because
he always gets the kickers.
He gets the kickers, and he gets the people who are unbelievably loud right behind him. It's the funniest thing. I don't know. He has.
Is it because he's so tall, and then you're like,
maybe they're doing it on purpose?
This dude freaking's blocking my.
He's learned how to scrunch.
He knows how to lean like this.
He knows how to lean. So anyway. No, but okay, so the only time that I have laughed about this kind of a thing happened just a few months ago, and it just was cracking me up. So we went to a theater in Salt Lake, and it's called the Parker Theater. Shout out to them. They do a great job. So this is not on them at all. They're a fantastic theater. Yeah. But they did a version of Persuasion, which was an atrocity. It was so bad. The actors were awesome. The script
they did
was
all
bad.
The things.
Yeah, the actors were in it. You know, when you can watch a bad movie, but the actors are good, and you're like, I love this, because the actors believe.
Right.
The play was like that. So the actors, top-notch theater, top-notch play, terrible. But because it was a Jane Austen, the whole theater was filled. We actually counted. The whole theater was filled with women in their 40s. And it was so funny. And women 40 and older, right? Just because it was a matinee, and it was just packed with women that had, 90% of the crowd was women, and then the 10% that was men that had been clearly dragged by their wives. And it was so funny, because it was like being in a chicken coop. They were just chittering the whole time. The whole play. And Ben and we were center in this auditorium.
Is that what you do when you go to plays? Because you went to Cirque du Soleil. This is off topic. Are you always center?
If we can, sure. I like being eye level with the stage. Center if I can.
See, my mom's always like, we want to be up to the side. We want to be on the edge.
Do you know why I choose center? Because the actors don't look center. And I hate it when they look at me.
I don't think they can see you.
They can.
No.
They 100% can see you.
No, they can't see you.
1,000%. I have had actors make eye contact with me and smile. And I'm like, never on the wings. Never on the wings.
No, they cannot
They can see you. Anyway, regardless. So this whole time, we were just listening to the hens just the whole time.
Were they talking about the play? Could you hear some of them?
Yeah. So they were sometimes it was oh, he didn't. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, look at her go. I love their hair. And da-da-da-da. The whole time. Oh, he's hot. And then there was 3 kissing scenes, I think, in the whole thing. Yeah. And one of them was period scandalous, because the guy came around behind her and he gently kissed her on the back of the neck. And you should have heard that audience. It was I was dying. Ben was laughing so hard, he was grabbing my arm. We were grabbing each other. And we were laughing so. It's the only time where people have been talking where I was appropriate. Well done, everyone in this audience.
Did you
say
things to Ben, or did you sit there quietly?
No, we sat there quietly.
You didn't say nothing.
We didn't say at one point.
Nothing.
No, because he and I are married long enough we can communicate without talking. So we would look over at each other, because the ladies behind us were they were loving it. It was the best soap opera for them. It was the best. But even halfway through the middle of the play, I was sitting next to a couple. A man had clearly been drugged by his wife, and he was like, I don't understand the story. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? And so she was having to explain it to him, and he's like, oh, well, maybe I should read the book. I'm like, you came here to a play like this, and neither of you have read, and she hadn't read the book either.
Dude, I would do that. I haven't read it, but I'd go.
No, why to a Jane Austen though? Why would you suffer like that?
Anyway. I just to go.
To a play, maybe like to a movie, sure, but to a play, I feel like you pay way more for a play than a movie.
That's most of the time. I just go to them, like, since I get free tickets, I just go, and you just go.
Well, I guess.
You just see, and you're like, oh.
Anyway, that was so funny to me. I don't recommend it. I hated it as
Did you?
as like a playgoer experience. Like if it had been a Shakespeare play, like at the festival,
yeah,
and people had been doing that in the audience, I would have been like so angry. But because the play was so bad, it was totally fine to have all these hens chittering or just clucking at each other. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that was the positive one. It's the one and only time. The one time. I've been literally, and I kid you not, I've been to hundreds of concerts and plays at this point in my life. Hundreds.
Yeah.
And like I can't stand human beings. I'm like, like I love them, but I'm also like, shut up. Anyway, but then I had another interesting experience, which was like half good, half negative, because I was like, okay, whatevs. So we went to a concert like a couple weeks ago. My kid was performing in it, and there was a young family in front of us whose kid was also clearly performing in this concert. And like when I say young, I think the oldest kid sitting there was 8. Oh, so they were
and it was
little.
Like a band.
Yeah, it was like a band thing.
Okay.
And so there was like 5 littles in front of us.
I mean, part of me is like they couldn't. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I'm like, you can't tell me there's nobody else in your whole world that you couldn't have dropped them off for the hour and a half.
At least the littles, like the 2-year-old, leave that one home, right? No, so mom and dad are not playing man-to-man. They're playing, defense or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can't have their hands on all of the kids.
Right.
So
did they do the whole, like, I'll sit at this end, you sit at this end, and kind of keep them in? Oh, no.
Why is mom and dad were sitting right next to each other.
No, why is that not used more often?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? You'd think we're using the corral style. That's what I'll call it. They'll, like, keep in between, and then you go, not you. And then you like, because what are they gonna do? Try and leave? You can't.
No.
Anyway, I don't know.
It was very, very, very disruptive, and I was like, I feel my blood pressure rising, and I'm like, no. Anyway, but then about halfway through, I realized that the mom's blood pressure was also rising, and like she was freaking out because they were so loud, and she kept going and patting her husband, like trying to get him to do something with the kids.
Was she on the outside or the inside?
No, she was on the inside because she was sitting next to the youngest. So and then her husband, and then the 3 others or 4 others or whatever. Anyway, so it was just. Anyway, the husband was doing nothing to be helpful to keep these kids quiet, and I was just like dying the whole time, and she kept looking back at me like I was going to yell at her or yell at her kids, and I finally realized, you know what? She gets it. She knows.
She's hating the situation. She's like, if she had the ability, they'd be hushed up.
Yeah, if she could, they would. But like, I was suddenly filled with compassion, and I was like, oh.
Well,
I'm glad
at least you're trying.
Yeah, at least you're trying.
Because some people are just like in church where they're like, my kid's on the other side of the room and I don't care.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you're like,
yeah.
I don't like you.
But like, see, I have so much more patience for people who are trying to be quiet than versus people who just don't get it socially. Like, oh my gosh, be quiet. Like, this is not a hard concept. Just be quiet. People have prepared. Shush. Shush. Anyway, that's what I had. So I don't have any other grand revelations. Everyone tell your friends to be quiet.
I feel like now we're just, this season is the season of rants. And we just, your rant, my rant, your rant, whatever. This is it.
It could be worse.
It couldn't.
It could. We could be angry. At least we're laughing.
True. Oh my gosh.
No.
Anyways, let us know how you feel.
I
was gonna say, I feel like hopefully you guys will be on the same page as us. I want to know if you listeners have children, if you use the corral system, or if you do the lopsided system where the parents sit next to each other.
Yeah, don't do that.
Be honest, because
we want to hear.
We want to know.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do one later about it.
I also want to know your most egregious play interruption.
Oh yeah.
Tell us your terrible stories.
Yeah, whether it was out of your people or someone else's, where you just like, whoa.
Because I think they're funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, thanks for listening.
Yep, thanks. Bye.
Bye.